ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie.
Ain't nobody lying. I didn't go to the show last night.
Yes, you did. Because my sister-in-law's baby cousin, Tracy, she told me she went to the show last night. She saw you there all hugged up with some giraffe. Now tell me who she was.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yo, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today's gonna be a little bit of a video about nostalgia. When I'm having a kind of a day, your boy likes to think of the past of the good old times, like drifting off and just staring off to the abyss, like me contemplating what it was like before the damn internet. I'm just acknowledging how different it was to be me before the internet. It's not limited to just using the internet, because the internet affects everything. It affects cell phones, it affects social situations, it affects how we talk to each other, how we interact. You know what I'm saying? Strap yourself in and get along for the ride. Speaking of ride, if you're a ride or die, I thank you. And if you're new to this channel or to this video or to this situation or the kitchen, you know what to do. So let's go. First and foremost, the biggest situation before the internet was how you would use the phone. I want to get a hold of a friend. You know what you got to do? First of all, you got to remember the phone number, because you don't just touch a name. How many of y'all know all your best friends' phone numbers right off the top of your head right now? Go, say it. No. So first you got to be able to remember the dang phone number. If you didn't know the number, you'd be like, let me see the phone. You'd have to go through the pattern. I know the pattern goes up and it goes 1 and the last 3 numbers is on this side. This is getting me emotional, okay? Once you remember the phone number, which you only had a capacity to remember like this many amount of numbers, and let's just say you're not calling a guy friend, okay? You're calling a girlfriend. Let's just say the name is Stacy. I don't even know Stacy, but her name's Stacy. You want to talk to Stacy just to say hello.
Wait, hang on, I got another call. Who this? Oh, hi, mama.
You know what you gotta do first? You gotta call the house. Once you remember to call the house, guess what? There's 3 things that could happen. Maybe 4. You could talk to Stacy, which is best case scenario. You could talk to Stacy's mom, which is okay. Or you could have to get through Stacy's like siblings, which would be an older or younger, which is not that hard. Or the worst one, you had to get through Stacy's dad. Yeah. Back in the day, you had to talk to the parents every single time you wanted to talk to a friend or a girlfriend or anything. And it wasn't like when you would call, it would just be like, hey, can I talk to Stacy? You know, you'd be like, good afternoon, Mr. Garcia. This is Daniel. Yes, Daniel from school. Daniel from school. Can I please talk to Stacy? You had to be on the best behavior. You had to like put on a performance, because just because you knew her phone number and just because you called her house didn't mean that you were gonna get to talk to her, because you had to get through the gauntlet before you got to her. So once you did all the, oh yeah, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, okay, 1 second, and then you wait. And then you get the hello, and you'd be like, yo girl, what's up? Hopefully her dad wasn't still on the phone, because if he heard you say that, you'd get immediate dial tone.
Excuse me?
Hang up the phone, Jerry.
It was different back then, man. There was no sliding into the DMs. If you wanted to talk to somebody, guess what? You had to call the house and you had to talk to the parents too. You know how you met people before the internet? No, you didn't freaking slide to the left, slide to the left. You didn't stalk people on the internet and see all the pictures and know their birthday and knew their hobbies and knew everything before you even met them. You know how you met people? You got in the damn streets.
You in my way? What the hell are you doing?
Hey, calm down, baby. That's one of my natural reflexes.
Oh, so what, you like being in my way?
You maybe had a friend with a car, maybe, and you would just drive around the city trying to find people with no destination. And if you found somebody, maybe you can do it in a polite way, like, hey, what's up? What are you doing? How you doing? Like your dialogue game was on point back then. And maybe they'd pull over and you'd talk to them. In their town, there'd be a meeting place where all people your age would just hang out, and you can happen to meet somebody.
Hey, what are you doing here? I was just about to ask you the same question.
Whether in an afternoon, late or night, for my town, it was like a grocery store parking lot at a payphone. I don't know why, but people would just hang out there, because if you didn't know what was going on that day, you could go to that spot and you'd figure out what may be happening that day at that time in your city. Other than that, meet people. People don't do this no more, but literally we went to the mall. Everybody went to the mall for a Saturday afternoon. The mall was like the National Geographic watering hole where all the animals came by. You're a cougar, a lion, elephant, everybody, every breed, every species went to the watering hole because you need to live.
Sometimes the Crocs do nothing. More often than not,
They do what they've been doing for millions of years.
The internet changed everything, because sometimes you go to the mall and you just go there and you come out empty-handed. You didn't get a number. Like, did you get their number? Nah, I didn't meet nobody. Nobody went to the mall today. Another thing, before the internet or before you had smartphones or anything, because I lump all this stuff together, how to find out how to get somewhere. There's no Google Maps. There's no Waze. There's no GPS. Guess what? You got old school directions. You know what I'm saying? You're like, all right, you're gonna go down this street, okay? And then you're gonna see Winchell's, okay? Don't make a right at the Winchell's. You're gonna pass the Winchell's, and then you're gonna see a blue house with a red fence and a white door. Make a left right there. And then you keep going down straight, and you're gonna see an old van on the side of the street that, like, it hasn't moved. Well, it's a purple van. At that purple van, okay, well, I'm the house across the street with the pickup truck with the refrigerator in the front of it. That's my house.
Sir, yes, sir.
And you wrote them that exact verbatim, and that's how you found house parties, hangouts, whatever. There's no GPS. Hanging out back in the day had a big question mark. You know, like, you didn't know what the day was gonna come about. You didn't know if you were gonna have a successful day. Half of the stuff you just stumbled upon. Let's put ourselves in this position, go at this place, and maybe something would happen. Anytime I wanna feel good about myself, I just go back in the day and think of back of the stuff that I used to do and just feel the nostalgia. I love nostalgia. It makes my day. The world is so different and so high speed. And for instance, okay, Sade gets to watch the Wonder Years. Why? Because we have Hulu and we could just put them on. You know how you used to watch TV shows back in the day? You had to be at home at that particular time because there's no DVR. You would be home on a Friday night just so you could see Family Matters, Married with Children, The Wonder Years, In Living Color, A Different World. Because if you weren't there, guess what? You didn't get to talk about the next day at school because you missed the show.
Did I do that?
Now, you know, all kids could just go on the internet, Netflix, and see all of that stuff. There's no such thing as binge watching back in the day. To me, everybody knows music is like very, 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 very important to me. I think the internet changed music for me the most. Right now, if you think of a song or you hear the song on the radio, you don't even need to know the song, but if you know the lyrics, you can put in Google what song is or whatever, it'll find it like that. And nobody buys albums anymore. Nobody buys the whole, you just buy the song you want with iTunes. It's so direct. We're spoiled as heck. Back then, if you wanted to buy good music, you had to be a freaking risk taker. Basically, it was like Vegas for people who loved music. Let me build a picture. I used to buy either music at Tower Records, Sam Goody, or The Warehouse.
Tower Records. We've got it.
You go into the place and you start scanning on stuff. You may have heard something on the radio. You may have known that that's a particular album that you wanted, but a lot of times you wouldn't know. If you want to get the new stuff before everybody else, you had to go hunting. So you go looking, the album artwork. That's what got you first. You got to look at it, look at the names of the songs, maybe see what kind you like, if it sounded cool. Have you heard it with somebody? Were they featured on somebody else? But when you finally got that $11.99 to buy that cassette tape, guess what it was? It was like playing the slots. Why? Because you didn't know if that stuff was going to be good. You had to pray that was good, because if it wasn't good and it sucked, you wasted your money. And guess what? When you finally did buy that tape, you had to listen to the entire 3/4 of the tape before you got to that song that was on the radio. I mean, you couldn't just press number 7 or skip to that song. It took effort to find good music and be cool. It took a lot of effort. Things are so easy these days with the internet. I don't know what to say. To be cool, it took effort. Meaning, to find cool friends, to find the location where you wanted to go, to talk to the people that you wanted to do, and to mob around in good music, you had to know what you're doing. You had to be very resourceful. You had to be a hustler. You had to go get it. You couldn't just sit in your room and be lazy and want to be cool. Cool was effort, which I used to be. So y'all are lucky. Y'all who are born in an internet era and it's just always been there, you're lucky. Because us who were here before that, we had to show that effort. Thank you for coming through. It's been in my mind. Here's to putting effort into being cool, to pre-internet stuff. Thank goodness for the internet though, because I wouldn't be posting this video, if you know what I mean. Get!